morning, everybody. Welcome to another morning show here. Yeah, another morning show here with Isles Talk. This is season 7, episode 14, March Madness. Joining me as always, Gary Harding. Gary, how are you, bud?
Hey, bud. Nope, not too bad. Sorry about the sunshine, folks, but I needed to get some vitamin D.
Oh, that it's not even right. Basement boys, come on, cut. Good morning. Good morning. Glad you guys are all up. Yeah, I already had my bagel, believe it or not.
Me too.
Yeah, needed that. So, listen, we're going to talk about real quick the trade deadline, and we're going to go over the standings. And yeah, buckle up for March Madness on that one, folks, because this is not going to be fun for you guys. Um, this is going to be a wild ride, probably to the end here. Um, and then we'll talk prospects a little bit because, again, probably starting after this weekend, I will be diving right into a lot of the playoffs, NCAA tournaments, the Memorial Cup tournaments, all of those, the league tournaments. I get to watch all those, and I'll go into that a little bit further. But Gary, real quick, give me your thoughts on last night's game against the Kings.
Oh, I'm just getting tired of these lousy first periods.
Okay,
Um, we've proven enough that we can come back and, record 10-0 in overtime and all that, but um, it's just getting tiring that, they're not coming out. Although Patrick said in the postgame comments he felt they played well. They LA blocked a lot of shots, I think it was like 14 or 15 shot attempts were off net. Um, but again, you got to be happy about the way they come back and the way they're playing. And Shafe was just a monster last night. I mean, 29 and a half minutes. Um, he was deking everybody. I mean, every time he made a move, the crowd just was like this collective, whoa, and I mean, one spinorama move he made at the point. Um, he faked the defenseman so hard the defenseman lost his stick. I mean,
right.
these are amazing times for this kid, and I'm happy Heineman got off his schneid. I think, I may be wrong, but it looked like the second goal, Heine got it off the Heine, so it was
A
pretty
little bit
funny.
off that thigh. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. At least it made Claire laugh, so that's good. Um, but we've been saying it for the last 3 or 4 games, and we got to say it again. We got to come out strong. Um, and they're going to need this big win today because Columbus is breathing down their necks and they could lose that third spot. So it's very important before this 3-game Canadian trip coming that they, get these 2 points and keep themselves, above that line. The Canadian trip is going to be a little bit less painful with no Austin Matthews out as a result of that hit by Gudis the other night.
Right.
But it every game that we know is ultra important now. So they've got to come out. They've got to set a tone, and I'm looking forward to see if they do that.
One of the ushers were losing their shit during that like shit. Yeah, there was a lot of passing going on. Yep.
But I agree with that statement, David. But think about this. Um, one of the things we complained about ad nauseum last year was the fact that they were sitting still.
True.
That it was very predictable. Yeah, Barzy was doing his what I call his Jason Blake dance, and
Oh,
did like 3 or 4 laps around the rink. But you know what? I take the fact that if their feet are moving and they're getting opportunities, yeah, they may not get the chances on net, but they're creating openings. And that last year's team did not do that at all. So I would rather see I'd rather see movement. I'd rather see, trying to get the right opportunity. Sometimes I think they look for too good of an opportunity, but that's the type of play that Patrick Waugh wants, and that's the type of playing that makes the Islanders effective. Were there too much passing? Yes. There was too much moving around, but I'd rather have that than the past.
Agreed. Agreed. But I kind of I'll go a little bit more in the middle there. I'm kind of like Butchie in the moment here. If there's a slot anywhere, put the puck on that
Well, that's what you see
a
with
little
Schaefer.
more often. Yeah,
That's what you see with Schaefer.
yeah. That's what I love about Schaefer this year. He just throws the puck. He's not really trying to score. He's just trying to put that puck in play in the middle and
And,
see if
especially if you
something
got a
happens.
Heineman or a Lee, somebody out there that's good at getting tip ins and deflections and
Right.
that type of thing. Yeah, Jim, I agree. They were, because they effectively got the goals. But when I looked back at the game last night, I watched it after I got home again. Again, they had their opportunities. Their passing in the first period was pathetic. I will definitely tell you that. Um, and that leaves a mark, on how the team is effectively playing. But they just they just missed shots. They just had bad passing and opportunities. When Mayfield tried to take that shot and I forget who was number 12, that name that scored the first goal, but he blocked the shot and went in on his own. I mean, there's not a lot you can do about that. I mean, Sorokin would probably say he'd want that puck back 99 times out of 100, but that set the tone, and that's the problem. They get that one goal and they just seem to lay low and lay back as opposed to taking the push. It took the goal and it took the Schaefer little incident behind the net for this team to wake up, and they woke up big time. The third period, they really dominated the play. It was funny. Claire said to me at about the 15-minute mark, she says, I think I've got to, go to the bathroom. And I said, the first break will be after the 14-minute mark. And between goals and icing and everything else, there wasn't a break until 2 minutes left, 2:45 left. It went like 12 minutes before a break. And that was probably what I would say very good hockey. No scores, but both sides had great opportunities. There was a lot of flow. So overall, I liked the game despite the result, but I liked the way the Islanders fought. And the third period, which used to be our bugaboo, has now been our strength.
Right.
And like I said, it's the old cliche. You're tired of playing 40-minute games. We need 60 tonight against Calgary, a team that's not doing well, and a team you can beat. So you got to come out, set the tone, and just put pedal to the metal.
Beautiful. So let's talk trade deadline real quick. Um, Islanders kind of got their quote unquote enforcer in Braden Shen. They gave up a first, a third, Marcus Gidloff, and Jonathan Druin for a short term. We'll call it a short term 2C. Um, I'll go with your thoughts real quick on the trade, and then I'll go into mine. So, what do you think of Braden Shen so far?
Uh, you know, um, I like the fact that, even while he was getting applauded in St. Louis, he basically went to the bench and says, "You touch Matthew Schaefer, I'm coming after you." Um, was great. So, he's very smart, very savvy, loves to hit. Just a comment that I had from Claire. She went to practice on Thursday, and I know they've said it on the broadcast, and It is very true, but, you know, Claire noticed very succinctly that while practice was going, Braden and Cal Ritchie were, you know, in a corner by themselves, working on face-offs, working on positioning. Um, Claire said Shen got like behind Rick, behind Ritchie, and was moving his feet, moving his arms around, to kind of improve on his skills. And you could see that mentorship, right away. Um, he was real, she was really pleased by that. And she could see, again, this is a former captain, excuse me. And you could see what another face like that means to the team. Yeah, the team got unfortunately older in this, but Shen is not a 34, a 34-year-old person out there. He doesn't play like a 34-year-old. He plays younger. He plays stronger. He's smart. And yes, it's a short term, but I like the deal. I mean, you figure the way Colorado's playing, that pick's going to be in the high 20s, low 30s. It won't be 32 because of Ottawa's penalty for doing some
Correct.
off-season crap. So now they got the 32nd pick. But it's a high pick, and they basically got that in Ritchie. So I don't think they really lost as much. Joanne basically lost his confidence, and you could see right away he scored his first game he played for St. Louis. And, it is what it is. Good guy in the locker room, but you have to trade something to get something. And if the Islanders, I'm saying when the Islanders make the playoffs, it's good to have a seasoned playoff veteran like Shen in your lineup. And I think that will another aspect that will spread through the team. A lot of people didn't like the trade. I thought it's okay.
Beautiful. All right. So I I neither like or dislike this trade. Um, it gave me a sense of direction on where this team wants to go, because in the beginning of the season, um, we had said this might be a short transitional time period for the Islanders as an organization, and then all of a sudden, Matthew Schaefer shows up and changes basically everything. Uh, what that direction goes is up to the players, and we're going to get into that as far as the standings go. But they needed a centerman who can help make the other players, the other wingers, better. Um, I felt Cal Ritchie, and I still feel Cal Ritchie is still not a 2C in this league yet. Um, I wish people would just stop rushing prospects. It's been an eyesore for the Islanders. I don't know, 3 decades now. Um, I will say this: getting Shen here was expensive. That is a first round pick. They don't have they only have one pick now through the first 3 rounds. Granted, something can change in 2000, later on at the draft, but and you're giving up, you're trading away a prospect like Gidloff, which I know a lot of people are, quite excited on Gamzin over in the KHL, but I hate to burst your bubble, folks. Those numbers that he's putting up, even as a 22-year-old, those are average numbers for the KHL. Anyone who watches the KHL, they'll tell you that. Those are average numbers. If Gamzin really wants a shot playing with Ilya Sorokin, he's got to win the Gardner Cup. Okay. Gidloff was already in the Swedish Hockey League, probably coming in. St. Louis, again, is a small market team. St. Louis thrives on their prospects. They know what they're doing with their scouting and everything else. They know Gidloff has probably, for the immediate time, a higher chance of making the NHL than Gamzin. So they essentially may have taken the better goalie right now. And that was a steep price. So for Islander fans who want playoffs, with a trade like this, you have to get past the first round.
No doubt.
You have to. If you are a fan, not a fan of the trade, that's not what I'm saying. If you are an Islanders fan who wants this team to make the playoffs because of this trade, you have to go past the first round in order for this trade to be successful. Because there was a lot here that was given up for Braden Shen. Long term, yes, probably a good move. But now you have one draft pick in the first 3 rounds of a relatively deep draft that we haven't seen in a while. So that's my thought on that. So what the team has to do at this point, obviously, is make the playoffs. Because if they don't make the playoffs, okay, that'll be something else. But we're gonna get into that and how difficult it actually really is. Um, you know, getting into the playoffs right now. So for those of you who are scoreboard watching, and there's a lot of you, for those of you following the standings, um, you're into games 65, basically for every team. And during the season, me specifically, I always play the percentages. Earlier on in the season, I always play the percentages, and um, I always go by the point pace. I've been doing that now, I don't know, 10, 15 years. Uh, kind of relieves some of the stress, does add a little more drama from time to time. But what I've learned is that once you get to games after the trade deadline, 63, 64, 65, 66, the regular points and the point pace don't matter. This is like the last leg of the Belmont. This is the last turn. This is it. This is your finals. It doesn't really matter. Um, right now, for you optimists out there, the Islanders are only, yes, you are tied with Pittsburgh with 79 points. Pittsburgh got a game in hand. Your problem is that Pittsburgh has not been losing since Sidney Crosby left.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh's still there. The Columbus Blue Jackets are on pace for 97 points, and the Islanders for right now are on pace for 98 points. Again, 1 or 2 points behind each other. Columbus is 2 points behind. Columbus has not been losing in regulation. That is another problem that the Islanders have. If the Islanders, excuse me, if the Islanders could grab a point almost in every game, they'd be better off. Losing in regulation from here on out is practically a no-no. You can't do that. The Atlantic Division at the moment is a hot mess. Tampa, Buffalo, and Montreal, you can basically put them in as locks. I'm almost there. That's almost a safe bet for me. Boston with 98 points, point pace, excuse me. The Detroit Red Wings on a 98-point pace. The Ottawa Senators with a 94-point pace. The Ottawa Senators are not out of it right now. So you literally have 4 or 5 teams vying for the 6th overall spot in the Eastern Conference. And not to count them out yet because they're not. The Philadelphia Flyers refuse to go away. They're on pace for 92. If, let's just say, for example, the Islanders were in 8th place and they were to play a 500 game for like the next 6 games, let's say they go 3-3, Philadelphia would have to go at least 4-2 to keep up. Basically, 3 more regulation losses by the Flyers, and you could eliminate them. The problem that the Islander fans have right now, and I'm not going 2007 yet, but Gary and I kind of said this 3 months ago. This looked like this was going to come down to game 70, 75, 77, whatnot. Guess what? It's now worse, folks. You are looking at games 75, 77, 80, and quite possibly games 82. I know you guys want to talk about second place. You want to grab Pittsburgh. I'm going to tell you now, just get into the playoffs. Your playoffs started 5 games ago. This is now your race. This is why.
And a good thing about talking about game 78, 80, 82 is that we got the last 5 games at home.
Yes.
That is huge as you can imagine.
Yes. Yes. This is all, no doubt. The Pens have it. Tommy, I said this months ago. Buffalo to me, they were scary back then when everything was coming together, and now they're loading up. But after what Colorado did at that trade deadline, it's Colorado and nobody at this point for me. They have so many centers lined up right now. It's like, oh boy. Yeah. Yeah, but look, I don't. I know you guys are bringing up that home record, but you didn't even beat LA last night at home. Okay, you still got to play David Rittich at least 4 or 5 more times in those back to backs, right? How comfortable are you guys? Yeah. You got to score more than 3 goals a game. You got to do it. The Islanders have a better away record, if I'm not mistaken.
You can't be at a home game and have 9 shots in 2 periods.
Thank you.
You can't.
Thank you. Right. So I'm not saying you're going to be one poke check away from getting into the playoffs, folks, but this is not easy. If you have hair left, you're going to be losing it.
And remember, we got 2 games against Carolina coming up.
Yeah.
2 games against Montreal coming up. And I'll be there a week from tonight.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are your playoffs, folks. And this is why the NHL will not go to the expanded playoffs yet. They love this scenario. This is at least 20 games worth where everyone's coming together. Now, again, the thing with Detroit. Detroit's got injuries to Dylan Larkin for at least 2 more weeks.
Gibson.
And yeah, that this is tough. This is not going to be easy. I mean, I know you guys want second, but got to start scoring. And then for my Western Conference fans, I'm not going to leave you out, but I'm not going to lie. This is pretty easy here. Ironically, the Predators are still in a playoff spot, or they're not in a playoff spot. They're still in the playoff hunt. They're on pace for 85. The Kraken are still in it for a pace of 86. LA still in it for a pace of 87. But in all honesty, you've got the Avalanche, the Stars, and the Wild. Your top 3 teams in the Central. They're the top 3 teams in the conference. It's the Ducks, Utah, Vegas, Oilers, and Sharks. It's basically the Central on top of the Pacific. Again, and with the trades and the moves that Colorado have done to shore up their center position, I think it's Colorado. For Colorado, it's Stanley Cup or bust. Like that's it for me. If Colorado does not win the cup this year, ooh, good luck. But Gary, I know you have family who are Stars fans. Are they semi excited for all of this? Have you talked to them
I
lately?
think so. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
You know, I I always like to watch Dallas obviously because of my family connection, but, I wouldn't count them out, and they're getting a lot of production from a lot of names that don't necessarily are household names as well, so, yeah, I wouldn't count them out, and I definitely wouldn't count Minnesota out. They've been struggling a little bit of late, but, and their rookie goaltender has come back down to earth after a brilliant start, but they are deep as well. Bill Garrett has done a nice job of getting complementary players in, and of course the Quinn Hughes effect. But yeah, that 1-2-3 race. I mean, the 2-3 setup, right now between Dallas and Minnesota is going to be legendary. I
Yeah.
think. I mean, that's to get out of that division with those three guys beating each other up. That's the thing that I think will hurt the Central Division is they're going to have to kill themselves before playing outside of that division. So
Right.
that's the only thing that would put a damper on Colorado is that they beat themselves up in the first two rounds and they get to a conference final and the West could pull a shock, in my opinion. Don't think I'm going to see it, but
Right.
you got to put those cards on the table.
So, all righty. Um, guys, have any questions on the standings or whatnot? I mean, the Islanders right now, they've got 98 points. You need 98 points as of right now to get into the playoffs. That's how good Columbus has been playing. Ottawa, I'm not going to lie. Ottawa's now been sneaking up ever since they got healthy, ever since the Olympics. Something's happened with Ottawa. Don't.
Did Sanderson come back yet?
Who did?
Sanderson?
I think so, or he's close. One of the
Oh, okay.
two. I haven't double checked. But Ottawa has now entered that picture. The Capitals are out. Florida, they're out. Jersey, Leafs, Rangers. Who are they? Um,
Toronto.
yeah, just yeah. So keep your eyes, Islander fans, keep your eyes open for Ottawa and Columbus for sure. The Flyers, honestly, two or three more regulation losses anytime soon. We can probably knock them off. But if you're looking for second place, you have to start scoring more at home. You're home now. You're home for the rest of the season. You have to find a way to score goals at home. That's right, Tommy. This is going to be a bigger game now. At Ottawa next week, no doubt. Every game's going to be big. If you hear someone go every game's a must win. Forget it. It's that's it for the rest of the season. I'm not saying you're going to need one poke check now to get into the playoffs. Know your
You're
history,
in
but
yeah, you're in playoff mode now.
yeah, you have to be. You have to be. And again, to what Gary said and what everyone's been saying in the chat here, you cannot start off the way the way the Islanders have been starting off. I love Cutler.
Yeah, he's good.
Pair of sunglasses, Islander sunglasses.
Now,
Absolutely.
in about
Okay.
5 minutes, the sun's gonna go over my light in the big room, so I'll be all right.
Okay.
I didn't
So
want to be down in the
moving.
dungeon. I wanted to be in sunshine.
Okay. So let's talk prospects, folks. So this is what I usually do.
By the way, this segment should be called Gary's not going to be speaking for about 10 minutes.
Oh, you know what? Here we go. Let's just do this. Hold on. Where are you? Where are you? Don't blame Gary
Yeah.
for this. Okay, if the prospects get all wrong, don't blame Gary. You blame me. This is the easy one. Okay. Um.
I'll
Oh
take my
wait. You know
coffee.
what?
Yeah.
Hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna. Hold on. Do 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 do. Hold on. There we go. Hold on. There we go. Do-do-do-do. Don't blame Gary, Prospect Edition. Yes. Wait a minute, Matthew. Beautiful. Blame Paul. Yes. No, Cutler. That's not nice. So, yeah, listen, folks. I don't come up with a prospect list during the season or whatnot. I look at some of the games, some prospects throughout the season, um, more like tougher situations. So yeah, just blame Joe. That'll work too. Um, but for the most part, I don't pay too much attention to the prospects regular season. I look at some of the numbers. Don't get me wrong. Uh, I look more at the college numbers than I do the Canadian Hockey League. Um, but some are definitely relevant. And if there's a particular if there's a particular prospect you want me to take a look at real quick, I can do that. But I'm probably going to come out with at least 7, 8, maybe 9 prospects who I think Islander fans should keep an eye on. Some of them are, you know, easy. Your Aitchisons, your Eklunds. Um, okay, cool. Is he coming? Is Quinn Finley coming? Quinn Finley's on one of them. Cameron Berg right now, real quick. He's putting up fourth line numbers like he's supposed to in the AHL. I think they got to go one more year with him at most, and he's on pace to replace Casey at some point. So, again, as far as the prospects go, I'll rank everyone when their seasons are officially over. Um, some of them are going to be a little different from everyone else's that you read. Um, and then we'll go from there. But it's just to give the fan base an idea of what you really have, and I think that's going to be part of the direction that the Islanders are going in. So, because of this trade deadline, because of the prospects that we currently have and we will be getting eventually, I don't think any of us have seen a direction like this in a very, very long time. I don't even think we've seen this ever, and I'll get into that in a minute. Um, yeah, the mentality, honestly, it's for me, it's on the players at this point. You're in playoff mode. If you're in playoff mode, the players have got to be ready. The coach can only do so much. So, all right. So let's talk about Quinn Finley real quick. He is a junior in Wisconsin. Uh, to my knowledge, they still have a shot to get to the big dance. Um, he's playing like, in all honesty, he kind of reminds me of a third line Zach Parise still. Um, if he does play a little more college, in the if he can get as close to the Frozen Four as possible, wonderful. Um, does he have to come this coming season? No, he does not. He can go to for his senior year if he wants to. Um, but does he have anything else to prove? Probably not. Maybe just go for another shot at the national title. But Quinn Finley, at this point, because the Islanders are basically stacked with veterans on the team, this is the simple part. Is Quinn Finley ready for the American Hockey League? Yes. And that's where you want him. Whether it's Bridgeport, Hamilton, doesn't matter. Could Quinn Finley play in the American Hockey League starting next year? Yes, he does. He could. Okay. The other obvious one, um, let's talk about Aitchison. I know a lot of people have him ranked number one on their list, and that's fine. That's cool. Um, Aitchison is putting up enough offensive numbers. Inio, again, do I feel comfortable putting him in the American League next year? Sure. Um, a lot of people think he's going to be a top four defenseman. Okay, I might be able to go along with that. For the ones who think Aitchison's going to be a top four defenseman in the next year or two, and pump the brakes. Aitchison, if you can give Aitchison minimum 100, games in the American League, round out his 200 game and his defense. Oh, okay. Now you've got something with Aitchison. You got to remember, he was 19 this whole season. 19 this whole season for him. And he's putting up numbers that a 19-year-old defenseman should be putting up with the repertoire that he has. But at 6'2", 205, he's got average NHL size. He's just an average sized NHL player. Matthew Schaefer is around that similar, a little lighter, but he's a little taller as well. But Matthew Schaefer has blinding speed and vision no one has ever seen before like this. Aitchison does not have what Matthew Schaefer has. I'd say if you were to mold him into anybody, I would say Ryan Pulock. You can give him some of the defensive responsibilities as a Ryan Pulock with Aitchison's and his offense. Yeah, then you have yourself a top four. You have yourself a very steady top four Islanders defenseman. So that's Aitchison. Again, no rankings just yet. Um, I got asked if someone were to get, if someone were to, if I were to give the number one ranking to anybody at the moment, it would probably be Danny Nelson. Danny Nelson was on a really bad Notre Dame team this year. And I wanted to see how his numbers would look. I wanted to see how his play was without a great team around him. And he put up better numbers this year than he did last year or the year before. That's telling me something with Danny Nelson. Okay. The only thing with Danny Nelson is that he has a younger brother going to be playing at Notre Dame next season. And he currently is playing with another brother there already. So the question for me is Danny Nelson going to choose family for one more season and play in his senior year? Or is he going to join the American Hockey League? Oh, can't hear you, bud. Okay. So yeah, while Gary's getting that fixed up. Um yeah, so Danny Nelson, it's either family or professional. But again, he has another season if he wants to at Notre Dame. But for right now, if I were to put anybody there at number one, I would probably go Danny Nelson. You know what, Eklund, future pro right now. I think you just got to give him the Simon Holmstrom treatment. He's putting up some really good points. He's putting up points in the Swedish Hockey League. That's what you wanted to see. He's playing against professionals, definitely older than him. Bringing him over, giving him the Simon Holmstrom treatment, um, letting him grow his game in the American League. I don't think it'll take as long as Simon did because he's a horse. Eklund's a horse. He's very aggressive. He could play that North American game a lot quicker than Holmstrom could. I do like Eklund quite a bit. Um, Yeah, I see Danny as a third line center, but you know what, Tommy? He's actually got a projection closer to Brock Nelson at the moment. So yeah, he could be a third line center, but as he ages, as he matures, and depending on the coaching, as we already know, could Nelson be a 2C? Absolutely. I don't like putting ceilings on players. The floor for Danny is definitely a 3C, but I don't think, limiting him to just a 3 or 4C, I think that would not be doing him service at the moment. I think he still has that ability to be a 2C. And it doesn't have to be now. It could be when he's, again, like Brock, 27, 28, 29, you know, whatever, late bloomer, whatever you want to call him. Pay your AT&T bill. I love that. So, no, I love Eklund's game so far. He's a horse, and I'm going to be excited to watch him in the playoffs this year. Um, to see how supposedly he's coming over. So Eklund right now is really really promising at this point. Paladin, loved him in the World Juniors. Going to watch him in the playoffs as well. He's got a Cal Clutterbuck to him, uh, but he also has a nose for the net, as you guys already saw. Um, Pull it in for me. I think he may have a better wrister than Cal, but I want to see his overall game at some point. If he's not ready by next season, he'll definitely be ready by the following season. But I want to really take a longer look at him in the playoffs this year. I want to see these kids under a little more of a stressful situation. If you guys know what I'm talking about. Um, but I like him, but he's not. He's one of those quiet ones that have not been talked about among the other prospects. He's a quiet one. The other quiet one that we have not been talking about, and we should, is Xavier Villeneuve out of Cornell. Um, Guys, left-handed defenseman, 19 years old, 6'1", 192 out of Cornell. This guy's putting up more points than Devontae's was when he was in college. The only thing he's missing is Devontae's speed, and Tays was a natural for speed. But this guy's putting up some real legit points, playing a very steady game, and Cornell is actually going for the national title at some point when the brackets come out. Testing mic test. Nope. Nope. Nada. Oh, wait. No, did you mute yourself? Unmute yourself. This is going to be funny. No, on the screen, bud.
How
Unmute
about now?
yourself. There you go.
There we are. We're back.
Okay.
I paid my bill, David.
Has the organization soured on Isaiah George? No, I don't think so. Other teams have been looking at him, for a possible trade. And look, could Isaiah George be a number 7 defenseman next season? Sure. Could he be a number 6? Sure. I want to see where the CBA goes at the end of the season, guys. That's the other thing. The CBA is going to be over. We're going to be starting a new one. We're going to see what kind of changes um, is going to happen. But again, Isaiah George as a bottom pair defenseman next season, I'm not against it. Um, but I will say I haven't been impressed with his offensive numbers. I was expecting a little bit more from him, but Bridgeport and the American League, as you guys already know, they have players doing certain things for certain reasons and whatnot. It's not always about their numbers. But in terms of a puck moving defenseman, he could be there. I'm again, for me, the offense just isn't there for me this year, Cutler. Essentially, we draft a right-handed D-man with our first-round pick. Tommy's just poking the bear here. Tommy knows I've been wanting the Islanders to draft a right-handed defenseman now for like the last 10 years. They just haven't done it. Yeah. But I will say this. The Islanders also don't have a center. like a number one potential center or a 2C floor center. Yeah, they've got Nelson, but it's now 3 years, 4 years. He's not in the American League. You got to get the Islanders have to draft themselves another centerman because look, you've got Nelson, you may have Cameron Burke, you may have Cal Ritchie, but then you don't have anybody else after that. You got to start drafting them, and it's the same thing with the right-handed D. I don't know what they're going to do. And look, if Velio could learn to play the right D as well as the left while he's in Cornell or while he's in Bridgeport, that would be a bonus. So that's a toss up for me, and it would also depend on who's there at the draft, whether it's a right-handed defenseman or a centerman. But then again, watch him draft a winger. So, Cole Iserman. Again, guys, Cole Iserman, BU was not great this year. They're playing today at 1. His numbers weren't bad. And he's been injured this year. So this is a little bit of a struggle for him. This is when I watch these prospects more often. I don't think he's out of the loop here. I don't think the Islanders should bring Cole Eiserman here without a legit number one center, whether that's Danny Nelson or if they sign, a seasoned veteran centerman to like help Eiserman here. Eiserman's going to put up the goals, but you need that 200-foot game. But he's also going to need a center to help him get through this. You can't do that without the proper tools. So I don't know if the Islanders are going to wait on Eiserman and Nelson coming together. I don't know, but if Eiserman wants another year at BU, wonderful. Do I think Eiserman could play in the American League? I think he's close. I think he's real close. Is he my number one prospect? No, but I'll tell you what. I'm a little more confident with Eiserman now that I've seen him struggle a little bit than I was in years past.
And again, he didn't follow the Oliver Wahlstrom path.
Right.
He was smart enough to stay and work on his game. And again, you see the potential is there. There's no
Absolutely.
question about it. But he just needs just a little more seasoning. And again, with more of a pipeline than we've had in a long time, you can afford to
Yes.
put him in college for another year.
Yes, you can. With all these kids. That's the best part. Well, that's going to be part of the season in review as an organization. That's going to be a good one. The other wait, did we talk about him? I think we did. Don't worry about Prokhorov. He's going through that whole KHL experience. I'm not too worried about him. Did we talk about Kavishnika?
No.
No. He's the last one, guys. Right winger, Western Hockey League, lighting it up. Going to the University of Minnesota next season. He could be your Zach Parise. First line, second line, either one. He's not getting talked about enough. Speed demon, tough, likes to play similar to Zach. I don't think he's getting enough. He's not getting enough attention because he is out west. He's in the Western League. I'm definitely going to be watching him. Going to be watching his playoffs, so on and so forth. Those are just some of the names. When it's all said and done, folks, probably by like beginning of April, the mid-April, I'll probably come out with my prospect list, whether it's 9, 10, 11, 12. I'll come up with all of them, and we'll go from there. by the draft. So, with that in mind, water cooler talk. Questions, comments, concerns?
Like this
Mark,
one.
actually, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to comment on the Tony D'Angelo, because
Yeah, go ahead.
no, I really, I think in the last 15 or 20 games, he's shown me a lot more. He's playing that what I call the roamer. Um, and like Schaefer, he's coming down, behind the net on a lot of plays. He's skating tremendously and coming back when he needs to. Um, I like the way he's fit in. He's been pretty comfortable. And truthfully, he hasn't been as vocal offline as he's been in the past. I think he's playing the model citizen role to a T, and the players
Mhm.
seem to love him. So, you know, I'd grab him for another year in a New York minute. So I think he's a perfect complement on the second line.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I'm pretty impressed with him. So yeah, I'd say another year for him for sure.
I'd probably go 2. I go 2 years
Yeah,
with D'Angelo.
yeah. Say thanks. That's true.
Yeah, yeah. Might have to overpay for him, but I would definitely go 2 years with him.
I don't know if you would. I don't know if you have to. Again, I think that's the
True.
attitude of it.
Right. True. Camille Bednar, definitely a physical maturity, overall hockey sense. Everything else has gone up. His numbers have gone up. I would still put him at least 1 more year at BU. Um, Again, get his offensive numbers up a little bit more. If he has to spend a senior season there, so be it. He was going to be a long term project no matter what. Um, Solid 1 more season though. He needs to. He needs to get his offensive numbers up a little bit more in order for me to even be convinced that he can play in the American League yet. Good 200-foot game. He's putting it all together, but now he's got to put up the points. Who are you going to do better than a 36-point pace defenseman? He's on pace for 36 points, guys. You put him with Matthew Schaefer every once in a while, he'll get up to 40. I mean, I'm just waiting for Schaefer to play 35 minutes a game, and he'll be playing with Tony D'Angelo, and he'll get 40. He'll get 40 points. I mean, come on. Yeah, Jay, I'm not going to agree or disagree on this one. I was looking more for the direction of what they were going in, but Jay is of the opinion that the Islanders will not make the playoffs. And there's a part of me that's kind of siding with Jay there for a moment. But again, the standings are a little too tight. We'll see what happens. No, they don't. They don't have cap space to do anything at the moment. Well, I think they do, but there's no point because the active roster, it's full. You can't bring them up even, there's got to be injuries. So, any
And
other questions,
Bridgeport's
comments,
and
concerns?
Bridgeport is still fighting for a playoff spot. So you may not necessarily want to bring them up.
Yeah, Bridgeport's going for their own playoff spot. No. So here's the thing with Rasmus Anderson. Vegas is playing the cap game. Next season, I believe it's Alex Pietrangelo. When they put him on the out of season long term injured reserve, that cap will be available, and they're going to use that cap to re-sign Rasmus Anderson. At least that's what I've been told. So, if you think Rasmus Anderson is coming to the island, I don't think so. I'm going to go 95% sure he's going to resign with Vegas as soon as Vegas figures out their own cap. Um, I think we will make the playoffs, but we won't be around long unless Sorokin stands on his head. All right, folks, listen. Let's pose this question. Um, Do you think the Islanders make the playoffs? Yes or no? Go on there. And along with the yes, if you are a yes, how far do you think they can go? I'm just ultimately it's water cooler talk. I'm curious and whatnot. I said before, even with the trade made, you got to get past the first round. Um, if you get into the first round and you lose or you lose badly, um, you know, we're all going to have mixed feelings about this. Cutler says 40-60 no. Okay. This is close, guys. This again, mediocre. This is about as mediocre and close to mediocre as it gets right now. They make the playoffs. Okay, second round is realistic. Fair enough. Think we'll lose in the second round, but they make the playoffs. Okay. Second round. Good. And Jay's not wrong with this. By today's end, if there's a possibility we'll be out of a playoff spot. Yes, there is. Playing the percentages. If the Islanders lose in regulation today, and any of those other bottom teams grab a point or two, the Islanders would in fact be in ninth place in the conference. They would be out of a playoff spot. I think they're still trying to feel each other out, but I see that disconnect. Do you think they're a bad pair, Gary, Susie, and Mayfield?
I mean, you look at the time on ice, and I don't think I'm just looking for it now, but I only think they played like 10 or 11 minutes. I mean, Schaefer played 29 and a half.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's two guys that are not fast, although shockingly enough, on the board they list the fastest, top time, top speed for the players, and Mayfield was third. I can't believe it. I think
right,
he must have put some kind of retro rocket in his ass to get him to that speed. But they're slow, they're methodical, and you can't have two slow guys on the same pair. That's tough. But
right.
I can't see how you're going to switch it. Let's see. I just happen to be on it now.
Oh, we were
Yeah,
just
Mayfield played 8 minutes. Susie played 8 minutes.
okay.
Schaefer, they list him only. Oh
Were they
no,
minus
sorry,
3?
9 minutes. Yeah, because Schaefer played 22,
Right.
D'Angelo played 20, Pellick played 24, and Pulak played 22. So yeah, you can. That's the difference right there.
I mean, were they both minus 3?
No, -1.
Okay.
Well, wasn't one of them? One of them was a power play goal, wasn't it? No,
Think
no,
so.
sorry,
No.
they weren't.
Yeah.
Yeah, surprising.
Was doing a bad job of coaching as of late. He can't get his team to start out fast. Always falling behind early. Well, oh, lost yourself again, bud. The moment you cross your arms, you lost the mic. I don't know if that's all Patrick Waugh. Yeah, try talking now, Gary. Nope, we lost you. I also think it's a little bit on the players as well, Jay. If you want to go
Yeah.
total team effort, there you go. You're good now.
Okay.
All right, go. Oh, see, I just lost you again. It's the way you're holding the mic. Okay. Yeah, for me, Jay, it's a little bit of both. The players are got to come out. The players are got to want it. Um, but again, some kind of preparation is not there. I think we can both agree on that. We'll get into Patrick Wise, as this season is unfolding. But Patrick was not going to get a full pass on this one. I agree with you on that. But I think we do need. I'm not going to put that up. Very good, Cutler. But yeah, this is a total team thing right now, Jay. But I agree. Was not completely off the hook on this one. He'll still be with the team. Yeah, I agree with that to a point. He fits what Matthew Schaefer's trying to do. He fits what Matt Barzell's trying to do. But at the same time, how far is that going to take the team?
Watch
Because I'm
those
going to tell you
comments,
now.
people.
There we go. Atta boy.
It's going in and out because I got no power, but
What do you mean you have no power? You out of power?
no, on the mic. The mic is.
Oh, all right. I don't know if Gary can continue to do Saturday mornings anymore.
I'm
This is a rough
awake.
one
I
for
have
him.
no problem with it. One out of two people in this house can be awake this early. I won't say who the other one
We
is.
missed the playoffs. Do not hesitate to fire Waugh. Oh, that might be an ownership decision. Because ownership, and as we have already seen this season, ownership wants playoffs. We saw that with the trade deadline. Yes, the players have earned that, but the owners want playoffs. If they don't make the playoffs, who's going to be the scapegoat? Is there going to be a scapegoat? So that's going to be something. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about over the summer. No, John Cooper's re-signed with Tampa, if I'm not mistaken. He said that to the Tampa Bay Booster Club, if I'm not mistaken, months and months and months ago. Yeah, there's some kind of video on that too, Jay. So, any other questions, comments, concerns? Listen, guys, it's March Madness. Your prospects are playing now. Your Islanders, Bridgeport, and New York, you're all on a playoff hunt right now. Yeah, 13 straight sellouts. How many total sellouts so far this year? Are we up to 17, 20?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah. Yeah, we were only expecting, 4 to 7 at the beginning of the season, so they've definitely doubled or tripled that number. Soon to be quadrupled. Thank you, Matthew Schaefer.
Money, money, money.
Money, money, money.
And more Schaefer jerseys, I think, sold than any other player in the league this year.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, add one by me.
That's right. Claire got her Matthew Schaefer jersey.
That's
Gary,
right.
you going to the game tonight?
Of course I am. Actually, for the supporters groups, we got a little chalk talk with Pierre Turgeon before the game.
Nice. Nice. Any other questions, comments, concerns, folks? Water cooler talk time.
Yeah, and you guys might see me on TV next Saturday in Montreal.
There you go.
Group's coming. Still have tickets if anybody's interested in coming for the weekend.
I don't know. Yeah, no, actually, I am working.
It's
I
too
was
bad,
off
Paul.
this
We could have
weekend.
picked
I
you. We
can
could
get
have
off
picked
next
you up.
weekend. I
We
know.
could have picked you up, Paul.
I know. All right, quick backstory on that. When we did the Montreal trip, I did not go to Long Island to get on the bus the first time. They literally picked me up somewhere along the New York Thruway,
Wasn't that
and we
Ottawa?
just. Oh no, that's right. It was Ottawa, not Montreal. It was Ottawa. Yeah, they picked me up along the New York State Thruway, and they dropped me off back at the Thruway. I know all the stops. I was allowed to park there overnight on the weekends and whatnot. So, yes, they did let me in. Absolutely. I don't think I'm allowed in Quebec anymore, but yes, I am still allowed in. I'm still allowed in Canada. So, all right, boys and girls, this has been a great show. Thank you for coming on. And listen, if you haven't already, please follow us on X at Isles Talk. Follow us and like us on Facebook, and please like this video on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. We normally don't do a lot of shows around this time because we just rather have you guys
Oh,
watch and
can I
suffer.
add something in, Paul?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I gotta if you're gonna find the link, but last week I put on X, if you go find me at IslesMet63, I have a petition on change.org to get Jiggs McDonald put into the Islanders Hall of Fame. I think it's something that's long overdue. Obviously he didn't wear skates on this team, but he is a permanent fixture in Islanders history for calling a lot of those Stanley Cup games. And, he still handles a lot of things, for special appearances and stuff. And I think it's an honor that is very long overdue. So if you go on to my Twitter and check out any of my posts, there is a link on change.org. Please sign the petition. I want to get as many signatures as possible to give over to the Islanders to consider giving Jiggs that honor he so deserves.
It's on the Isles Talk. It's on Facebook. It's on X. We put that out already. We put that out on the rest of the groups. So it is out there. So if you haven't already, please go and vote. My Facebook groups: Misery, Drive for Five, Loyal Isles fans, Worldwide Group, Real Islander fans, Bleed Blue and Orange, the Coffee Cup. All you guys, we're always appreciative of everything you do for us and what you allow us to do. All of our X fans on there, been great, and YouTube's been wonderful. All the numbers have been going up. Everything's been great. So we thank you guys. Yes, gutter ball, gutter ball, gutter ball, gutter ball. Thank you, Matthew. Yes. So, all right, folks. Don't know when the next show is. Could be Thursday because I know I'm working through the weekend, but I think I'm off on Thursday. So we'll see what we can do there. We'll look at the schedule. We'll go from there. Harry, can you say bye?
I can say bye. It came back. I got
there we go.
I got enough
there goes that joke
for another minute or two.
Bye,
I forgot
guys.
to charge the damn thing before the show.
Of course you did.